action so far. But how will all of these overnight cues impact our own markets? We have our research team joining in with how the trade setup looks like and the stocks that are likely to be in news today. First up, Sudarshan gets us all the market cues we need to watch out for. Sudarshan, good morning. A very good day yesterday. Looks like the trend is continuing today as well.
Exactly. So if I can sum up the market move of last few days in one line, it can be said it's a one-way traffic, and seems like that we are set to welcome Indian cricket team with another day of record opening. Now, talking about Wednesday's move, it was a record close for major indices. Sensex crossed 80,000 for the first time, and gain of last 10,000 points from 70,000 to 80,000 has been the fastest ever. On market capitalization front, India remains the fourth biggest stock market, with market cap now approaching rupees 450 lakh crore. What's interesting in the move of last few days is we are seeing a basket buying. Instead of few stocks from one sector, we are seeing buying in almost all the names. The week had started with a big buying in IT with an expectation of a strong earnings, and now after HDFC Bank's shareholding details and a few quarterly updates, we are seeing a similar pattern in banking names. Take a look at the delivering buying in the banking names that were top Nifty contributors yesterday. For HDFC Bank, it was nearly rupees 7,000 crore, highest single delivery buying that bank has seen in the last 4 months. And this was reflected in FI flows for yesterday as well. FIs bought shares of more than rupees 5,000 crore in the cash market, while sell figure for DIs was less than rupees 1,000 crore. And this higher trend market up move is expected to continue today as well. GIFT Nifty is indicating a started record high for Nifty, and currently it's up more than 100 points. We are seeing support from global cues too. On Wednesday, we saw S&P 500 and Nasdaq hitting record highs. Even US 10-year yield has slipped below and is now back below 4.40%. Also, Asian markets have opened higher. Japan's index Topics is at a record high, and in the cues to watch on global front, US market is shut for Independence Day. Keep an eye on FTSE as UK general election begins today. Talking about stock-specific reaction, we should see stocks reacting to their business impact. Some of them are Bajaj Finance, L&T Fin and Bandhan Bank. Also, keep an eye on telecom companies and new tariffs come into effect today.
Only apt, right? Because the entire country is cheering for the Indian team to arrive. So why not the markets? Sudarshan, thanks a lot for that update. Now over to Vamakshi, who would list out the stocks to watch out for in today's session. Vamakshi, good morning. Plenty of business updates, I guess.
Well, absolutely, Hormaz. A lot of business updates. Let me first start off with the one that came from Bajaj Finance. They reported a growth of almost 31% on a YOY basis in their AUM, and their AUM now stands at 3.54 lakh crores. Deposit book also saw a good uptick of 26%. The customer franchise has also seen an uptick and it now stands at 8.8 crore customers. Bandhan Bank reported a nearly 22% jump on a YOY basis in its loans and advances. It was up nearly 1% sequentially. Total deposits have grown at a much faster pace as compared to the loans and advances. It's grown at almost 22.8%, while on a sequential basis, however, it has declined 1.5%. The CASA ratio has declined to 33.4%. Suryodaya SFB is the next one we will be watching out for. Gross advances were up 42% YOY, 4% sequentially, but the disbursement saw a sharp downtick, down nearly 26% quarter on quarter. But nevertheless, on a year-on-year basis, they were up almost 46%. Total deposits saw an uptick which was largely in line with the advances. They were up 42% YOY, and the CASA ratio has declined to 17.7%, but the asset quality has improved and gross NPA now stands at 2.67% for the company. L&T Finance reported good growth in its retail disbursements. They were up almost 33%. The retail loan book resultantly saw an uptick of 31%, and now the retailization percentage now stands at 95% as compared to 82% a year ago. Vedanta also reported its operational update for the first quarter, and in this quarter, total aluminium production was up 3% YOY, flat sequentially. Mined metal production was up 2% but was down nearly 12% sequentially, and saleable metal production was up 1% but down 4% sequentially. GE T&D India has received orders. It's received an order worth almost 64 million euros from Grid Solutions France, and it has received another order worth 26 million euros from Grid Solutions Middle East. And lastly, let's also focus in on Brigade Enterprises. They've signed a joint development agreement. This is for a residential project spread across 8 acres in Bengaluru, and the GDV of the project is expected around 1,100 crores.
Kamakshi, thanks a lot for that update, and we'll keep all of these stocks on our radar. And lastly, Nigel Johnson with cues from the F&O space. Nigel, good morning. The weekly expiry today, but it's been one-way traffic for the Nifty.
Well, that's right. Things have been looking good. The only problem yesterday was we made the high of the day in the first hour, and after that, we couldn't get past that. So that could be a bit of a worry. But looking at the GIFT 50, well, we're going to be gapping up with a gain of closer around 100 points odd. What transpired yesterday? Well, on the Nifty, we had a mild short covering that we saw. While in the Nifty bank, that appeared there was fresh long positions that were added. And that one will have to lead the way from here on as well, given its weight and given the way that, in fact, it bounced up and traded, ended with a gain of closer around 100 points. What did the FIs do? Well, it tallies with what we saw on the Nifty as well as the Nifty bank. It appears they added long positions, particularly on the Nifty bank. Well, there was some short covering, as that chart is telling you on the screen. And in a matter of a month, just take a look at the way the things have changed. Well, just a month or so ago, the short positions were at around 84%. Now, that's turned around, and in fact, now you have the long positions at around 84%. So that graphic plate, in fact, is telling you the story, the way the markets have turned around. And from being net short by closer on 3.5 lakh contracts, now they're net long more than 3.5 lakh contracts out. So that's the big swing factor. And the FIs and the clients, well, they've done a bit of a switcheroo, so to say. Because the clients earlier were long, the FIs were shorts. Now you have the FIs that are long, while the clients are net short on the index. What about the other positioning that we're looking at on the Nifty options chart since today's a weekly expiry? Two strikes were fairly active. It appears there's a short straddle taking place. At the same strike, you ride the call as well as the put. Pocket roughly around 150, 180 rupees going by the premiums that we saw in the last few sessions. And the broad band will be 150 plus 24,300, 150 minus 24,300. So you get the broad expiry range that we're looking at. You'll have to say that once we get past that level, if in fact we break out of that range, then the markets can go anywhere. But for the time being, it appears the street is positioned for that range. Back to you.
300-point range, then we'll watch out for that on the weekly options expiry for the Nifty. Nigel, thanks a lot for that update. But time for a short break here on Power Breakfast. Up next.